Welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Between the pages today is the final lap of the Houses of Parliament design competition, as the winner will be revealed this week. Stay with us. We have the news right after this break.
Looking to enhance your professional skills and competencies with training of the highest quality? Then apply today to the Justice Training Institute, JTI. JTI offers certificate courses in computer applications, CSEC Math and English, financial crimes investigation, courtroom protocols and procedures, diplomas in paralegal studies, court reporting, and more. For more information, call 928-4624, visit us at 4 Camp Road, or go to the website jti.edu.jm. The Justice Training Institute, training for improved performance.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, March 26. Senator Pernell Charles Jr. is now a cabinet member. He has been appointed Minister without Portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. Senator Charles Jr. will be working with Prime Minister Holness on the housing and infrastructure portfolio. The former Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade's appointment became effective on Monday. In a release, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said Minister Karl Samuda has been assigned to the Ministry of Education, where he is conducting an administrative review.
We will be looking at all aspects of the ministry where improvements are necessary to ensure that the delivery of the service, that they will be done and done efficiently and as quickly as possible. That there is no need for anyone to have any sense of apprehension as to the future and the direction of the Ministry of Education.
Prime Minister Holness maintains oversight of the Education, Youth and Information portfolio as the administrative and governance review continues. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has tabled legislation to complete the merger of the island's education and training agencies. The Human Employment and Resource Training Amendment Act 2019 was tabled in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. It gives further effect to the government's policy in 2016 to merge the National Youth Service Board, the Apprenticeship Board, and the Jamaican Foundation for Lifelong Learning Limited with the Heart Trust NTA.
What it does is create a stronger institution. Now you have one focused body dealing with training, youth attachment, and remediation.
At the end of the current fiscal year, Heart Trust will have an annual enrollment of over 119,000 and certification is projected at 59,000. For the upcoming period, the figure is expected to reach 153,000 in enrollment and 101,000 for certification and training. Over 2,300 residents served by the Fonthill water supply system in St. Thomas are now enjoying access to potable water, thanks to the newly installed 1,050-centimeter pipeline between Davis Mountain and Fonthill Square. It's part of Phase 1 of a $19 million upgrade of the water supply system, which will include pipe laying and repairs, as well as rehabilitation of a chlorine contact chamber. The Fonthill Water Supply Project formed part of government's observation of World Water Day, celebrated on March 22 under the theme, Leaving No One Behind.
This project will enable the residents of Fonthill and surrounding areas to have water supply on a regular basis, but 3 days a week initially. As we develop the system, we will be able to extend that so that you will have water supplies, reliable water supplies to serve the communities for the full week.
Subsequent to World Water Day, further works will be carried out and will include pipe laying from Fonthill Square to Buckingham and the supply and installation of 3 1,000-gallon storage tanks at Buckingham. These additional works are slated to be completed by June 2019.
The next phase of the project will see the construction of an entombment at Janga Spring and the replacement of the 1.2-kilometer pipeline between Janga Spring and Davis Mountain. The Fonthill Water Supply Upgrade Project is a partnership involving the Ministry, the National Water Commission, Rural Water Supply Limited, Water Resources Authority, and the Adaptation Program and Financing Mechanism for the Pilot Program for Climate Resilience in Jamaica. The newly refurbished Stadium East running track was officially opened on Monday. It was renovated at a cost of 71.5 million Jamaican dollars and will provide local athletes with additional access to a training facility. Speaking at the opening ceremony, Sport Minister Olivia Grange says the track was completed within the budget and will facilitate warm-up events and high school competitions.
This holistic approach in sports by government is a plan that will provide the enabling environment that our sports people need to achieve global success. It is a plan to bolster investment in coaching, in facilities, and welfare at the national and community levels, as well as in schools.
Still on sport, government will be spending $12.6 million Jamaican dollars for a pilot project to provide hurdles to 25 secondary schools across the island. The hurdles will be presented to the school's track clubs. Sport Minister Olivia Grange says the initiative is to develop the skills and expand participation in hurdling among student athletes.
You see, the board of SDF, in preparing its development plan, identified a problem. The performance of our athletes in the hurdles is outstanding, but participation is not widespread. Jamaica is excelling in the hurdles at the international level, yet only a minority of our schools participate in the discipline at jams.
Minister Grange says the cost to supply the neediest schools with at least 20 or 2 flights of hurdles is being explored. This is the minimum required to develop competitiveness. And finally, selected tax offices will be opened this Saturday, March 30, to facilitate property tax payments that are due April 1. These include offices in St. Andrew, Mandeville, Maypen, and Spanish Town. Other offices in St. Anne's Bay, Montego Bay, Savannah Lamar, and Portmore will also be opened. Tax Administration Jamaica says companies filing annual employees' return S02 due April 1 can also use Saturday's opening to do so. The TAJ warns against last-minute payment, which may result in overcrowding at its offices on March 30. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
If you no want pop down and fenke, you fi burn mosquito and run with dengue. So no make water cycle in open container. For them we read up under the danger. Usher them out, run them away. Slap them with the zapper and down them with spray. Use mosquito net and mosquito screen. Protect your household, now make them come in. If you no want pop down and fenke, you fi burn mosquito and run with dengue.
A message from the Ministry of Health.
Up next, the latest happenings out of the office of the Prime Minister.
Prime Minister unveils plans for a new Jamaica, takes decisive action on corruption allegations, and discusses security, energy and investment with the United States. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Stay with us.
In this budget that we have presented between the Minister of Finance and myself, I believe there is something in there for every category, every sector, every interest.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness making his contribution to the budget debate in Parliament Tuesday. Among the announcements made are changes at the National Housing Trust, NHT, which become effective May 1. All NHT mortgages will see a 1% reduction in their mortgage rates. The loan ceiling has increased from $5.5 million to $6.5 million. The income bands have been widened to allow more mortgages to access loans. NHT has increased the construction loan limit for NHT serviced lots and introduced an intergenerational mortgage scheme.
Now is the time to build house. Now is the time to buy house. Now is the time to make that critical investment in your life.
The Prime Minister said the NHT would be spending $2.5 billion to upgrade 49 housing schemes across the island. 16 projects have already started in 7 parishes, while the other 33 will get underway in the 2019-20 fiscal year. The Prime Minister also announced plans to initiate the Greater Infrastructure Development Program GIDP once the Major Infrastructure Development Program MIDP comes to a close. He said while funding for the GIDP is being sought, the government has earmarked several areas for improvement. They include a ring road around the Kingston metropolitan area, construction of several bypasses, upgrading of drains, improvements to the Halfway Tree area, and an extension of the Mandela Highway improvement works towards the Old Harbour Road roundabout. On the matter of national security, the Prime Minister told the House that he would be taking new legislation to the House of Representatives to deal with threats posed by gangs and guns. The legislation, Mr. Holness said, would create an intermediary extraordinary power to assist the police and the military.
This is not a capacity that can be arbitrarily used. There must be systems, rules, procedures, accountability in how the capacity we acquire is used. Jamaica is not a banana republic.
During his budget debate, Prime Minister Andrew Holness unveiled a new system of appointing boards for public bodies and agencies. There will now be a competency profile specific to each public board, a database of candidates, and a fit test conducted before Cabinet's approval of membership to a board.
Now is the time to be optimistic about the future. Now is the time to build the new Jamaica which we all desire.
On Wednesday, the Prime Minister announced that Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Karl Samuda, is now in charge of the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. Minister Samuda's oversight will be in effect for up to 2 months. That's while a review of the operations of the Education Ministry and its agencies by the Office of the Prime Minister is ongoing. Minister Samuda's temporary appointment became necessary following Wednesday morning's resignation of Ruel Reid from the Cabinet and the Senate amidst corruption allegations.
It is important that the country is assured that the government is serious about dealing with issues having to do with the good governance of their affairs, allegations of corruption, malfeasance, maladministration, and that we set a standard of accountability that cannot be questioned.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness said the Permanent Secretary at the Education Ministry has been instructed to give a full report of the functioning of the ministry. He also gave some assurances.
The operations will continue unimpeded, and I am expecting that the new exams, the PEP, will go off without any difficulty.
Minister Samuda gave a similar assurance to the Ministry of Education staff when he paid them a visit on Thursday. While commending ministry staff for their service, Minister Samuda pledged to work with them to ensure continued public confidence in its operations. He said focus would be placed on identifying and addressing any weaknesses found in accordance with the principles of good governance. By Thursday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness was in New Kingston to welcome the island's newest housing development. Dubbed the Cambridge, the $4 billion 176-unit apartment complex is being developed by Guardian Life. As he lauded the Guardian Group for the investment in housing, the Prime Minister challenged other private sector entities to assist in the transformation of Kingston.
Kingston's carrying capacity, in terms of population, could be well over 1 million people. Could be well over 1 million. But the truth is that half of the population almost leaves every night and comes in every morning. What you want for a city, for it to be vibrant and growing, you want the population to live, eat, sleep, play, do business right here.
Prime Minister Holness left the island Thursday for Florida to attend the Caribbean Leaders Summit Friday. Among those in attendance were U.S. President Donald Trump and leaders of the Bahamas, Haiti, St. Lucia, and the Dominican Republic. Discussions focused on security, energy, and investments. During Friday's meeting, the Prime Minister expressed his hopes for future relationships between both countries.
We look forward to discussions on energy, on trade, but on security as well. We look forward to discussing regional issues to do with the peace and stability of the region and how we can move forward with the prosperity of our people.
Prime Minister Holness's delegation included National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang and the Office of the Prime Minister's Director of Communications, Robert Morgan. While he was on assignment, Industry and Commerce Minister Audley Shaw was in charge of the government. And that's how we close out Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more of the news coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
The finalists in the Houses of Parliament design competition have been rallying support for their concept to come out on top. Which one would you want to be your government office? If you are yet to decide, watch this.
We have the most energy efficient building, we have the most symbolic building, we have the most easy building to construct.
This is just a spatial layout of the entire park. The building has 2 entries on either side. So in this particular building, we chose to use the configuration of a courtyard. So the building becomes 2 courtyards juxtaposed against each other to allow maximum light and ventilation on the inside, also reducing the energy and increasing the performance of the building. Now we have 2 chambers, Senate and Parliament, and we've done them quite differently.
We spent a lot of time preparing for this. We're looking forward to presenting.
The experience starts effectively outside the front door. To the north, we have a formal entrance. We've created the Senate and the House of Representatives as a focal point. The lobby actually bleeds between those 2 spaces. We wrap the edge of the building with all of the office and the working spaces. Those atriums at level 0 actually have landscape.
We have developed what we consider to be an iconic building. It's innovative, it's modern.
The national flower symbol is a very, very important thing for us, and it's the basis of our whole design. We pulled the building back slightly, created that more generous forecourt to the west. The building, it's all organized around the House of Representatives and the Senate, each having their own sort of pavilion, and the roof is entirely for the public.
We tried our best to have a project that really we felt belonged to Jamaica and could really be the new future of the Jamaican Parliament.
We've structured this building program over 3 key levels: the elevated podium, an intermediate level, and the ground level. On approach to the building, you go through a field of columns that uphold the roof plane, allowing us to have a delicately diaphanous building. The veranda that wraps around the periphery of our shingled glass enclosure. And these are views of the House chamber.
We have worked hard for this. We know we have a strong design, and Jamaica needs this.
We begin with a strategy of lifting the building up. By lifting it up, we give the building prominence. The building as a basic organization. It's actually a very simple building. A box with a courtyard at the center. From that courtyard, we layer out with meeting rooms, circulation zones, offices, a perimeter courtyard, and then the landscape. And the veranda itself is a place we can gather. One in which citizens can gather casually, but also where we can gather formally.
Following the presentations, the 8-member jurors led by Chairman Mark Raymond deliberated and submitted their report. The designs were on display at the National Gallery in February as the public got a chance to choose the People's Choice design by way of voting. However, the overall winner of the competition, as well as the People's Choice Award, will be announced in March. The Houses of Parliament Design Competition is part of the development of the National Heroes Park, being managed by the Urban Development Corporation UDC. It also forms part of the redevelopment of downtown Kingston. The vision is to create an iconic destination that is accessible to Jamaicans and visitors within the 50 acres of park space. The Urban Development Corporation, making development happen for you. To learn more about the work of the Urban Development Corporation, call 876-656-8031 or visit their website at www.udcja.com. You may also follow them on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, or visit their information center on the ground floor, Kingston Mall, downtown Kingston.
Customs Meets the Community has so far visited 6 parishes. Our most recent visit was in the parish of Clarendon.
Waiting for where? Clarendon! All right, let's go Team JCA! Yeah!
Welcome to the great parish of Clarendon.
It's indeed a pleasure to have you here. Eh? And when we heard that you are coming to Clarendon, we said, oh, that's such a good thing. Custom meets Clarendon. I must say that a lot of us don't know exactly what the roles of customs are, even though a lot of us travel through the airports and the ports, the seaports.
You'll find that at every engagement, there's general information that we cover. This includes customs policies and clearance procedures. We also seek to include other border regulatory agencies in these sessions.
Today we have partnered with the Post and Telecommunication Department, otherwise known as Central Sorting Office. The Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association is also on this leg of the journey and will provide you with relevant information if you are in business and is interested in manufacturing or exporting.
If you look at the Jamaica Customs mission, it speaks about 3 things. One of them is, it is our responsibility as customs to protect the border. The other thing that we are mandated to do as customs is to collect revenues. We do work on behalf of several ministries, departments, and agencies of the government of Jamaica. So when we are on the border and we're looking for guns and ammunitions and explosive firecrackers and all those things, we're not just doing it for customs. We're doing it on behalf of the Ministry of National Security. So as a gatekeeper, we do work on behalf of the Ministry of Health. When you get your medication and it comes in, who is it that is going to check to ensure that if you say you are importing Panadol? Who is it that checks to ensure that it's indeed Panadol that is on the labeling? It is a customs officer who will check.
We always try to cover the importation of personal and commercial items, as we've realized that this is an area which affects all Jamaicans, whether you're an individual shipping a package or you're operating a business, small or large.
What if I can't make it to collect my shipment? You write a letter of authorization to giving someone over the age of 18 permission to come and clear that shipment on your behalf. You take a copy of your passport, your driver's license, make a copy, and you also put a note, and you get that signed by a Justice of the Peace or Notary Public.
For our Westmoreland engagement, we took a more inclusive approach by inviting members of our disabled community. The feedback was tremendous, and we continue this approach into our Clarendon engagement.
The organizers recognize that persons with disabilities
are valuable to their customer base as any other Jamaican, and so they have invested in ensuring that persons with disabilities participate in their community engagement, which includes providing for sign language interpretation for the deaf persons who attend. It is also noteworthy that there is a special presentation to the Maypen unit for the deaf, which is truly commendable. We are also happy to know that, as the deaf dancers reminded us, we are not forgotten.
When we started this engagement in St. Elizabeth in May 2017, the Montego Bay team led by our able Jacinth Mighty, she directed the entire play that you see come out. She did the script from start to end. On behalf of the Customs Meets the Community Committee, Jacinth, we want to thank you wholeheartedly, sincerely from our hearts, for just really supporting the team and really putting your heart into it. This particular individual has stayed committed to the cause. This particular individual has never said no and has always risen to the occasion. Mr. Sean Barrow, on behalf of the Customs Meets the Community Committee, you have just been so awesome from the get-go. Thank you so much, Sean. You've been awesome. This is the team that makes it all happen. It could not happen without them. And as chair of the committee, I am so very proud to be a part of this awesome team.
So Look Out Jamaica, our journey will continue, where we will visit another parish in the final quarter of the financial year.
In the morning, I cook banana and callaloo and saltfish.
I love my porridge, I love my soup, my hard food, my dumpling and banana, my yam, and my pumpkin. That I use and stay strong, you know.
Orange, grape, apple. Yeah, those are all the foods I eat.
I eat orange and bananas and apple, pine. All of the fruit, them grape and everything, what I sell on the stall I eat.
Like organic stuff. No fertilizer, no chemical, because we are eating pure chemical and pesticide now.
Regular proteins, beans, peas, legumes.
Well, I drink like soup, porridge, and I eat fruit.
As we close the show for yet another day, we thank you so much for staying with us. Please like, share and visit our webpage and social media platforms. And tomorrow, do join us again on this station for another edition of Jamaica Magazine. Until then, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.